1. When anger takes over. Anger is one of the most powerful emotions, and if left unchecked, it can destroy relationships, reputations, and opportunities. When someone provokes you, or a situation doesn't go as planned, your immediate instinct is often to react, to defend yourself, to strike back, or to express your frustration. This impulse is natural, but reacting in the heat of anger almost always leads to regret. Words spoken in anger cannot be taken back, and actions done impulsively can have long-lasting consequences. This is why silence becomes a superpower in moments of anger. When you choose to stay quiet, you create a pause, a critical space where emotions begin to settle. That pause allows your mind to regain control over your impulses and your heart to cool down. Instead of letting anger dictate your response, you allow reason and wisdom to take the lead. In this way, silence is not weakness or avoidance. It is strength, discipline, and emotional mastery in action. Staying silent when anger rises also gives you clarity. It allows you to assess the situation from a higher perspective, rather than being trapped in the tunnel vision of rage. You begin to see the bigger picture, the real reasons behind the conflict, the motivations of others, and the potential consequences of reacting. With this clarity, you can respond later in a way that is measured, effective, and aligned with your values, rather than being led by impulsive emotion. Moreover, silence communicates self-control and maturity. When others try to provoke you, your calm demeanor signals that you are unshaken and in command of your emotions. People who speak out of anger often reveal their lack of control, while those who remain silent demonstrate inner strength and wisdom. Over time, practicing silence during moments of anger trains your mind to respond deliberately in all situations, reducing impulsive reactions and fostering emotional resilience. Ultimately, mastering the art of silence in anger is about reclaiming power. You take back control of your emotional state, your words, and your actions. You stop giving others the ability to dictate your reactions. By embracing silence when anger threatens to take over, you protect your peace, preserve your relationships, and cultivate a calm and disciplined mind. A mind that responds with intelligence rather than reacting with destruction. 2. During arguments you can't win. Not every argument is meant to be won. Some conflicts are unwinnable because the other person isn't open to listening, reasoning, or seeing your perspective. They may be driven by pride, emotion, or a need to assert control, making any attempt to convince them futile. In these situations, continuing to argue rarely produces a positive outcome. Instead, it escalates tension, drains your energy, and often damages relationships. This is where the power of silence becomes invaluable. Choosing not to respond doesn't mean you are weak. Avoiding the issue, it means you are protecting your peace and exercising wisdom. Silence allows you to step back and prevent the conflict from spiraling out of control. It gives you the space to observe the situation objectively rather than getting pulled into a cycle of anger, defensiveness, or frustration. When you stop arguing in unwinnable situations, you conserve your mental and emotional energy. You no longer feed negativity, and you prevent unnecessary stress from consuming your mind. Silence also preserves your dignity. Those who remain calm and composed in the face of hostility demonstrate strength, self-control, and maturity. By refusing to engage in fruitless debates, you send a subtle but powerful message that your peace and integrity matter more than proving a point. Mastering silence in these moments is a form of emotional intelligence. It shows that you understand when words can harm more than help, and that true strength lies not in winning arguments, but in maintaining control over your mind and your reactions. Over time, this practice allows you to navigate conflicts with composure, protect your inner calm, and focus your energy on what truly matters, rather than getting caught in endless battles that lead nowhere. 3. When others are venting negativity. Sometimes people use you as an outlet for their frustrations, complaints, or negativity. They may vent their anger, jealousy, or disappointment, intentionally or unintentionally, and it can feel as if their emotions are being dumped onto you. If you respond impulsively with anger, judgment, or defensiveness, you risk getting drawn into their chaos, allowing their negativity to affect your peace of mind and emotional balance. This is where silence becomes a powerful tool. By choosing not to react immediately, you create a buffer between their emotions and your own. Silence allows you to listen attentively without absorbing their negativity or being manipulated by it. The ability to remain calm and composed, even when the other person is emotionally charged. In essence, silence is a protective shield for your inner world. Listening without reacting doesn't mean you condone negative behavior or that you ignore problems. It means you are consciously choosing to maintain control over your emotions. You are recognizing that their feelings are their responsibility, not yours. When you detach from the need to fix, respond, or defend, you prevent yourself from being pulled into unnecessary stress or conflict. Over time, practicing silence in these situations strengthens your emotional intelligence. You learn to differentiate between productive engagement and wasted energy. You discover that you can be empathetic and present without sacrificing your own mental and emotional stability. Silence becomes a form of power, a way to maintain your dignity, conserve your energy, and navigate emotionally charged interactions with wisdom and grace. By stay quiet when others vent their negativity, you protect your calm, prevent unnecessary conflict, and keep your mind clear. Silence allows you to respond thoughtfully if needed, but never react impulsively, turning emotional chaos into a chance for inner strength and composure. 4. In the face of criticism or insults, criticism and insults are a part of life. At some point, everyone will face harsh words, judgment, or personal attacks. The natural response is often to defend yourself, argue, or try to prove your worth. But not every insult or critique deserves a response. Reacting impulsively often amplifies the negativity and gives the other person power over your emotions. Silence in these situations can be far more powerful than any verbal comeback. When you choose not to respond to criticism or insults, you demonstrate confidence, self-control, and inner strength. Silence communicates that you are not easily shaken, that your value does not depend on others' opinions, and are above petty conflict. It allows you to maintain your dignity while the other person's words lose their intended impact. Remaining silent also gives you time to assess the situation with clarity. Not all criticism is baseless. Some may carry constructive insights. By pausing instead of reacting immediately, you create the opportunity to reflect on whether there is anything valuable to learn. This approach turns potentially harmful interactions into moments of self-growth rather than emotional battles. Moreover, silence prevents escalation. Responding to insults often triggers arguments or resentment, prolonging conflict and wasting your energy. By staying quiet, you conserve your emotional resources and avoid being drawn into unnecessary drama. It is a form of emotional discipline that protects your peace and reinforces your control over your own reactions. In essence, choosing silence in the face of criticism or insults is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of mastery. It signals that you are confident in yourself, grounded in your values, and unaffected by negativity. Silence allows you to rise above the noise, maintain composure, and respond wisely when it truly matters, making it one of the most powerful tools for personal strength and emotional resilience. 5. When you don't have enough information. One of the biggest mistakes people make in conversations is speaking too quickly, before they have a full understanding of the situation. Reacting without clarity often leads to misunderstandings, miscommunication, and even unnecessary conflict. When you lack sufficient information, your words can create confusion, rather than provide insight. This is why silence is a powerful tool. It allows you to pause, observe, and gather the facts before responding. Choosing silence in uncertain situations is not indecision, it is wisdom. It gives you the time to analyze the circumstances objectively, understand the perspectives of others, and consider the potential consequences of your words. By doing so, you ensure that when you do speak, your response is thoughtful, accurate, and impactful. People respect those who communicate with clarity and purpose rather than those who react impulsively. Silence also protects your credibility. Speaking without understanding can damage your reputation, weaken your arguments, and make others question your judgment. By staying quiet until you have all the necessary information, you demonstrate maturity, patience, and emotional intelligence. It shows that you value truth and precision over the need to be heard immediately. Moreover, silence can prevent unnecessary conflict. Jumping to conclusions or reacting prematurely often escalates tension and provokes defensive responses. When you pause and listen, you reduce the risk of misunderstandings and allow the conversation to unfold more calmly and constructively. In short, staying silent when you don't have enough information is a form of self-discipline and strategic thinking. It ensures that your words carry weight, that your responses are measured, and that your interactions remain meaningful. Silence becomes a tool not only for protection, but also for effective communication, helping you navigate complex situations with composure, intelligence, and respect. When words won't add value, not every moment calls for your opinion or response. In life, there are countless situations where speaking adds nothing meaningful, where your words may clutter the conversation, create confusion, or even fuel unnecessary conflict. Recognizing these moments and choosing silence instead is a mark of wisdom and emotional intelligence. Staying silent when words won't add value allows you to conserve your energy and focus on what truly matters. Speaking impulsively often comes from habit, ego, or the desire to be heard, rather than from necessity or insight. By resisting this urge, you demonstrate restraint and self-control, showing that your presence and contributions are thoughtful, intentional, and purposeful. Silence in such moments also commands respect. People naturally notice when someone doesn't feel the need to respond to every situation. It signals confidence, maturity, and the understanding that not all battles are worth fighting. Others may speak impulsively, seeking attention or validation, while you maintain your composure, letting your actions and measured words carry more weight than constant commentary ever could. Additionally, choosing silence allows you to observe, listen, and truly understand what's happening around you. In these quiet moments, you gain insight, clarity, and a perspective that impulsive speech often blinds you to. This thoughtful approach enables you to act wisely when your input truly matters, rather than diluting your influence with unnecessary words. Ultimately, knowing when to remain silent is a form of power. It demonstrates that you value peace, clarity, and intentional communication over ego or habit. Silence, when applied wisely, can achieve more than words ever could. It protects your energy, preserves your dignity, and ensures that when you do speak, your voice is heard, respected, and impactful.